Networking. If that word makes you cringe, you are not alone. However, those people who have jobs appear out of thin air have likely been networking for months, if not years. Utilizing your network is a fantastic resource when it comes to your job search. You may not even have to job search due to your network. If you are watching this video, it's likely that you are in the process of searching for a new job, or you're considering searching for a new job. In most cases, if you plan on using your network to find a new job, you should have started networking months or even years ago. But don't worry, that doesn't mean that you can't start today. Networking is not quick. It's not easy either. Sure, there may be people out there who just seem like they grow their network exponentially so easily. But there is some intentionality and even strategy behind building your network. Today, I want to share my tips on how you can begin building your network today. Before we jump into that, just know that as you begin this job search process and the interview process, I offer one-on-one individual sessions to help you prepare for each of these different phases. Whether it is general career coaching, interview coaching, or even salary negotiation, I offer sessions that can help you be successful during each of these stages. If you're interested in learning more about this, please contact me today. I've linked to my email as well as my website in the description box below. So like I said earlier, people who have jobs that seem to appear out of thin air likely have been networking for a while. So when it comes to networking and how it can help you with getting a job, this is essentially the referral process. When it comes to referrals, think about it this way. We as humans tend to trust the opinion of people that we know and typically like or trust as well, more than just trusting something blindly without any additional input or context. So it makes sense that having a network and using your network to help refer you to jobs can offer more results. If you look at someone who has no connection to a company and has just applied to a job out of nowhere versus someone who has applied to a job and that person gets a recommendation or a referral from a fellow employee, friend, or even family member, the chances of the person with some sort of connection to that organization, to the hiring manager, etc., the chances of that person with the connection getting a look is much higher than the person who has no connection. So you want to be able to strategically build these connections that will help provide you with some value in the future. Now, that is not the purpose of networking. The purpose of networking is truly to build relationships and connections with other people. And there may be times that you rely on that network to get you something in return. But if you start off networking assuming that you're going to get something out of this relationship, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And the people that you are networking with will likely smell that from a million miles away. So when it comes to networking, it is not using people to your advantage. It is building strategic relationships that are going to be relatively long-term that you may or may not rely on in the future. Networking is not one and done, which means you're not going to say hello to someone, send them a LinkedIn connection request message, and then automatically get something in return from them. It takes time and patience and persistence to build these relationships. You are not using people when it comes to networking. You are building genuine relationships over time, and you may or may not need to tap into these relationships in the future. It is a give and take process. So what is the biggest thing that you should not do when it comes to networking? Do not give an early pitch. That is one of the biggest turnoffs when it comes to networking. This is a huge mistake because people feel used. And no one likes to feel used. You're not going to start off by introducing yourself and pitching your resume or asking for a position or an interview first. You need to be able to provide them with some value. And this doesn't mean that you need to provide them with a product or something for free. It could also mean providing them with the feeling of value, like they are valued. So you're not going to pitch anything to someone right off the bat. You may need to rely on a pitch a little later down the road, but it's exactly that, later down the road. Remember, networking is all about growing and developing and maintaining relationships that are genuine over time and not expecting anything out of it. You will likely have multiple touch points with this person that you're networking with. You're not going to pitch or ask them for something in your first 1 to even 5 interactions. You will probably have many interactions before you go to them asking them for help with something, like getting a new job. So do not start off with an early pitch. That never works. For example, when it comes to LinkedIn, my experience when it comes to connecting with people or receiving connection requests is if there is any hint of a pitch in someone's connection request message, I ignore it. I do not accept connection requests with pitches in them. The other thing that causes me to click ignore on those connection request messages in LinkedIn is any time that I see in their headline or on their profile that gives me the feeling that they're not actually looking to connect with me for genuine value, but they're looking to connect with me to sell me something or to try to convince me to work with them in some capacity. Now, the only time that I will click accept in those sorts of situations where it looks like they're maybe planning on selling me something down the road is if it sounds like they have genuinely looked at my profile and there is some sort of genuine, personalized, and individualized reason that they would like to connect with me. And that does not include selling me their products or their services. I can tell when a LinkedIn connection request message feels generic, feels templated. So if I get a connection request from someone who appears like they could potentially try to sell me something and there's no connection request message, I ignore. If I get a connection request and there is a message and the message is trying to sell me something right off the bat, I ignore. If I get a connection request and they include a message and it feels generic and templated, I ignore. If I get a connection request message and the message feels sincere, genuine, and does not have any hint that they might be trying to sell me a service, then I will accept. So I can tell you, just from my experience today while I was making this video, that I probably clicked ignore on 80 to 90% of the connection requests that I received. The connection requests that I accepted were the ones that were genuine, where someone mentioned seeing my YouTube channel or using interview tips that I had shared in one of my videos. Something that told me that they sought me out individually to connect with me because of some value that I've been able to provide them, not because of value they want to sell me on. So the same thing goes for you when it comes to sending connection request messages. If you're going to reach out to someone, you want to connect with them in a genuine way that shows why you're interested in them and that you're not interested in getting something from them, at least in the short term. Now that is very broad and generalized. And I feel a little uncomfortable about providing you with a connection request template because I just said I don't connect with people who appear to use templates to connect with me. So I'm not going to be providing you with a template to do this. This is why networking is so hard. It takes a lot of work on your end to do some research on someone, to generate a genuine message, to connect with this person, and put yourself out there. One of the things that I would like to say is when it comes to networking, in this case, it's probably quantity that's going to help you build that network. You will likely attempt to connect, if you're using programs like LinkedIn, you will likely attempt to connect with, let's just say, 100 people, and you might get some responses from about 10 of them, maybe even less. So it takes some time, it takes some persistence to start to build your network. And this is why people dread networking so much, is because it's not easy. It takes effort. So where can you start when it comes to networking? Well, you can start today, right now. First, you can start writing down a list of people who you currently know who may be able to help you in some sort of way. And when I say help you, this isn't give you something, but this is where they might be able to provide you value, or you can help them feel value. So maybe this is someone that you know, whether it's a family member or a friend, who works for a company that you would like to work for. Maybe it's someone who might know someone else who you don't know personally that you could connect with. Maybe you know that you would like to work at a specific company and you don't know anyone who works at that company and you don't know anyone who knows someone who works there. So you can identify a company and then start to filter through programs like LinkedIn or their website to identify potential contacts, people that you can connect with. Now, the person that you connect with is probably someone who works at a company that you would like to work with, or someone who already does something that you would like to do. It is more helpful to have some sort of connection already in place. Maybe you met this person at a conference or you heard them speak at a conference. Maybe it's a friend of a friend or an acquaintance of an acquaintance. But you can have no direct connection to them. It's just typically easier if there is some sort of connection that you can draw on already or have someone help you make that introduction. Once you have identified potential people that you could connect with and start to build your network with, it's time to strategize how you can actually build and maintain that relationship. Remember, networking is not one and done. It's not just meeting one time. It's building this relationship over time. And it's also not transactional. It's not, I'm going to give you something and you give me something. It takes nurturing. It takes intention. It takes energy and effort. So when it comes to making this initial connection or reaching out initially, remember, you are not going to pitch anything. While you're interacting with this person, you're going to slowly plant some seeds that will eventually get you to a point where you may be able to rely on this person and this connection to help provide you value in the future. In most cases, people generally want to help others and provide value to them because providing value to others feels valuable to them, but we don't want to feel used. So, how do you connect with someone? How do you send them a message? Well, maybe you meet them in person at an event. Now, you're going to have to introduce yourself in some way. So this isn't, again, a pitch. This is not your elevator pitch. This is not why they should help you, but this is more just them getting to know you. In this introduction, you're going to throw in a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background. Maybe even share something that you're proud of that you've accomplished professionally. If you're meeting this person at a conference or some sort of event, share why you're at the event and what you're hoping to accomplish by attending this event. That little insight that you share with them about what you're hoping to accomplish by attending this event or whatever it is that you're doing might automatically prompt them to make some connections for you. They might say something like, hey, I know this person, let me introduce you to them. Or, you would not believe this, I'm actually hiring for a similar position. Or they might say nothing, but know that the information that you shared in your introduction with them has planted some seeds. Ideally, you'll have a few more interactions and touch points with this person to continue to build that relationship and that rapport with them. Once you have enough of these touch points and you feel comfortable with this person and it doesn't feel out of the blue when you reach out to them, then they will likely be in a position where they feel comfortable to give you a referral for a position or a job or refer you directly to a hiring manager who they know is hiring for a job. You may be able to just directly ask them, would you mind referring me for this position? Would you mind referring me to the hiring manager, etc. You could even say something like, I just wanted to let you know that after our conversations, I felt really inspired to apply for these sorts of jobs, or this industry, or with this specific organization. I'll be checking these job boards, but I was hoping you might be able to pass my name along if you hear of any opportunity that might be a good fit for me. Now, by saying something like that, it lets them know that you feel like they know you well enough, and vice versa, that you'll be able to provide value to the other person. Now, again, you are not just starting off with this pitch. You're not just going in asking for a referral. You're not just going in asking them to do something for you when they know nothing about you. When you are asking for a referral, when you're relying on your network to help you get a job, you have already put in the time and the effort to build the relationship and the rapport with them. So this ask comes farther down the line after multiple interactions with this person. So what are some ways that you can stay in touch and maintain that relationship and that network with this person? Well, let's say you have your very first meeting with them, whether it's a virtual meeting or even an in-person meeting. Maybe you get their phone number. You could just send them a very simple text, something like, hey, I was thinking about you for this reason. Maybe you heard something on the radio, or you read something in the news, or someone said something about a book and they came to mind. Just reach out to them and just let them know that you're thinking about them. You don't have to expect anything in return. When something reminds you of them, tell them. You could try to schedule a second or third or whatever meeting to catch up with them. This might be a virtual meeting through something like Zoom or Microsoft Teams. It might be in person for coffee. Maybe you both enjoy the outdoors, so you choose to go on a walk or something like that. But schedule a short meeting or a quick meeting or some way to catch up with them. You could send them a gift. This doesn't have to be anything of monetary value, or it could be something of very low value to just let them know that you're thinking about them or you know something about them. Maybe it's their birthday. Maybe something special happened for them in their career. Maybe they got a new job or a promotion and you want to send them a congratulatory gift. Something like a $5 Starbucks card could be a great way to give them a very low-level monetary gift to demonstrate that you care about them and you're thinking about them and that you see and celebrate this fun accomplishment or milestone. And another great way to continue to maintain these relationships with your network or stay in touch with people is to reach out to them and ask them for their recommendations on things or advice on things. People in general, maybe not all people, but as a generalization, people love helping others and providing advice and feeling like they are of value. So maybe you would like to ask them for a book recommendation or a podcast recommendation. Maybe it's not even professional related and it's a restaurant recommendation or something like that. Just simple ways to maintain contact with them will help them feel like you are in this relationship for more than just the referral. When you've been able to catch up with them and maintain some of this contact, then you can jump in to the big ask of asking for a referral or asking for them to keep an eye out for opportunities that might be a good fit for you. So the moral of this video is really networking is hard. Networking takes time, it takes intentionality, and it is not going to come easily. If you are in the process of searching for a new job, now is not the time to rely on a network that you don't have. Start today. Build this network into something that will be able to help you in the future. Your network might be the reason you are offered a job without ever having to actually apply or go through a tiresome, multi-phased interview process. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And I would love to know your questions, your comments, your thoughts and ideas on this specific topic. Networking is a very individualized process. So sharing your experiences in the comments box below will likely help someone else who's going through something similar. So please share your comments, your thoughts, and your ideas in the comments box below. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so that you can receive life-work balance advice delivered directly to you every week. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.